right is out of the question.
Down with this sort of thing. Careful now. The nation holds its breath. Yes!
Hello and welcome to Friends in Low Places, the podcast hosted by four Irish middle-aged men with almost 199 years of living on this planet between them.
My God. Hello, everyone.
Huh?
How's
How
it
about
going?
that? 199. If young Mike there wasn't so young, we'd have 200 this year, you know?
Next year we'll have it.
Next year we'll have two. Well, we go
Good
on.
afternoon, gentlemen.
I'll have 203. Anyway, all good, gentlemen?
Right, Shawnee.
Yeah,
Mighty.
all busy, yeah, you?
Yeah, very good. Two things just before we kick off. A shout out to Mayo last weekend.
Delighted for them, yeah.
And
Yeah.
all our Mayo listeners. And condolences to the great Glenn Hansard who passed away this week as well.
I still can't believe it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Yes,
what
it's
a man.
To say the least.
Yeah, exactly. So from a big high to a great low.
Yeah, I
in
was
the
listening to
space of a
some
couple of
great
days.
Frames tracks last night. They're great. The stuff he did was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah. I've seen him live twice. I saw him in Brussels
Have you?
and I saw him in Kilkenny, maybe. I think it
Wow.
was. Yeah, really good. Revelation being my favourite song.
Great show.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Glenn. So today, we're going to look at things we couldn't live without today that really kind of didn't exist 20s, maybe /30 years ago. This is going to be fun. I suspect it'll be very predominantly technology based. But maybe not. We'll see. I will kick off with a statement for general discussion, and then Aaron, you will do we'll do a segment things we do today that we never thought we would do a few years ago. Mike, you will do bring it back or leave it segment.
For sure.
Niall will take us through Friends in Low Places top 10 things we'd keep if we had to press just before we would press the reset button. Followed on by if we take a look back in 20 years time, if we take a look back, what would be technology or what would we keep? I suppose AI would probably be in that discussion maybe somewhere. And then we'll finish on that. So, gentlemen, has everyday life got easier if we compare to 20 years ago? Maybe if we compare it to someone who was middle-aged 20, 30 years ago to today, has everyday life got easier? I'm going to kick off with you. What do you think?
Ask me, Shawnee, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some aspects probably have and some aspects probably haven't. So I don't know. Again, I'm time poor. And I don't know. I suspect people who were middle-aged 20 years ago were less time poor. In other words, they had more available time. Could be wrong. That's my kind of impression of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. We seem to be running around the place more, don't we? Like, there's more gadgets. There seems to be more stuff to maintain. I don't know. Like, you're going to bed at night, plugging in 50 oaks, like, what the fuck, like, you know?
But
Whereas before, like, you'd set your alarm clock, that was it. But sure, look, I mean, I don't know.
yeah, it's like with the advent of the internet, they thought we'd be working 2 and 3 day weeks. It never happened. It's arguable that we work more hours now than we did before the internet. So in actual fact, I don't know that technology necessarily means that we have more kind of free time. In some respects, I think it means that we have less free time, or at least that's been my experience of it.
That's a double-edged sword, really. You have to try and find the balance, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Everything is becoming faster. Everybody's expecting everything faster, instant.
Yeah.
You know, they want now. Sort of
Patience are gone.
patience are gone. Yeah, but they're used to technology responding to them so quickly that they forget that there's humans still involved along the way. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess for middle-aged people who are parents are probably, I mean, it's you're bringing up your kids maybe in a different kind of scenario where in one way it's easier to keep an eye on your kids these days, but in another way you kind of have to.
Yeah, I would say it is to an extent. Shawnee, but not in terms of keeping an eye on them online. Still has its challenges, and I
Yeah,
say
yeah.
that I say that as someone who probably knows more than the average parent about technology. I
Yeah.
think if you don't know a lot about technology, it's probably pretty difficult. So again, you know, without going into the details, there was an episode in one of my kids' schools there recently where a child was being effectively slagged off or to a certain extent bullied about his clothes, and as it turns out, it wasn't his actual real life clothes, it was the clothes that he had in some game that he plays.
Avatar thing. Wow.
So it was his virtual clothes.
My God.
Jesus.
Oh,
Okay. Wow.
Holy cow.
So like I remember back in the day, I remember having a duffel coat, for instance, when I was in primary school, and I used to get a bit of a slagging on the duffel coat. But we've moved now from kids slagging other kids in their actual physical clothes to their virtual clothes in some game. That's more important than the actual physical stuff proportionate. Yeah, so different world.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
For
so
sure. Yeah.
Then I guess that kind of goes towards the side. It's not easier maybe these days. But is there any kind of invention over the last 20 years that's quietly changed your life for the better? I would probably go much more deeper into this, but I could almost guess what most of you are going to say. I'm going to start out with GPS anyway. That's definitely that's
Here's your brother.
yeah.
Yeah, I always had a bad sense of direction. Yeah, still have having a
Broadband.
relationship with your GPS.
No, it's arguable I have a worse sense of direction as a result of the GPS, because in actual fact, as I was saying to you before the podcast now, I can have been somewhere 20 or 25 places, and if you were to ask me how do you get there, I'm still none the wiser. So I've become almost totally dependent on GPS to go more or less anywhere, unless it's upstairs or something like that.
You don't have it on the house, do you?
And not yet, but ironically, here's one for you. So
Jesus, go on.
I have it on when I definitely know places that I'm going. So it's like a kind of a reassurance in the background. So as if, for instance, if I'm driving from Dublin to Tip to home, I mean, I know that road. I'm not going to get lost. It's a fairly straight. But I usually have the GPS on just for the sake of argument.
Yeah, totally agree. I with the Irish music band I play with, they're about 2.5 hours drive north from where I live, and I've gone there multiple times. Like, and I know it off by heart. I always stick on the GPS. I don't know why. I just always do. Like, I'm always afraid I'll miss the exit off the motorway, and I know where it is, and I know which one to take, and I know what number it is, and I'll still put it on, like, you know.
I had to deliver a training session up in, I think it was Letterkenny, Donegal, which I think is, I can't remember, it's a fair old drive from Dublin.
Yeah.
And I decided I'd drive up on the particular morning. So I left really, really early, and I gave myself an hour and a half extra time. So I was about 3.5 hours into the drive, and I was literally on a road that could only fit one car. And I was like, this obviously can't be right. There's something going on. But I kept going and going. I eventually ended up at the training course about an hour late. So, unknowns to myself, I had pressed on the GPS to avoid tolls and main roads.
Yeah, we've all
But
done.
as ridiculous as the road was, I didn't question the GPS must be wrong here. I still proceeded to take that particular journey or those particular directions, even when it was patently obvious that, you know, I had, in this case, accidentally gone wrong via the GPS.
They generally say you should always trust GPS. Google knows best. But in this case, that wasn't...
No. It was embarrassing. Yeah, it was embarrassing. I was an hour late.
Similar thing happened to me before where I was... no, I wasn't an hour late. I was actually turned out to be 40 minutes early, but I had been in Spain on holidays and we were travelling, so I turned on the don't use toll roads so we could take some more scenic routes.
Yeah.
And when I came back home, I was travelling to Ashburn for a meeting. And when I got to Rossgrey, SatNav was telling me to turn off and go cross country. And I was kind of going, maybe there's a crash on the road or something. So I kind of got off and I said I'd see where I am. And next thing I looked at the route it was taking me. It was keeping me away from the toll bridges. It was actually bringing me through Eden around that way. And suddenly I realised what was wrong. Said, turn this thing back on again. Went back onto the motorway and I arrived at my destination 40 minutes early. But yeah, you have to be careful. Technology can screw you over too, But it's very useful for things like, if there's a crash on the road ahead, or even as you said, Niall, if you're driving to tip, you kind of gives you an estimated time that you're going to arrive, So if you're going to meet somebody, you can say, well, I'm going to be there in an hour and a half for sure,
Yeah, I've had a couple of experiences where the GPS in the car has brought me places where I hadn't expected to drive through. Like, I had an appointment with a foot doctor, a podiatrist. He had changed from where he used to work, and he had a new place. And then it was about 40 minutes drive, and I was coming through this village. And then it told me to go right and follow this road, and then I kept following it, and the road started getting a bit more of a dirt road, and then eventually I was in the woods, and then I was driving through a boreen through woods, and I was like, oh my God, where the fuck is this? And then like people on horses coming towards me.
Did you go back in time, Sean?
I was like, oh my God, where the fuck? And then I ended up on the opposite road, I suppose, to his workplace.
Right.
And at the end of the road, there's a massive barrier for pedestrians, so you couldn't drive through. So I had to reverse. So from that day forward, I started using Waze instead of the GPS in my car.
I think we're a big fan out of Waves as well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Aaron, things we never thought we'd do 20 years ago.
So back in 06, what things did we think we would never do that we're all doing today? So I did a little comparison, daily life habits 2006 versus 2026. So morning routines 2006, wake up to an actual alarm clock with maybe a bell on top, read a physical newspaper, maybe went out and bought the Sun in a physical shop to look at page 3. 2026, you wake up to a smartphone alarm, instantly scrolling through social media to see what you've missed. FOMO, I think that's called. Work habits 2006, so we relied on desktop PCs, disk drives, 56K modems, dial-up internet. 2026, working remotely now, we fiber broadband, cloud storage, ability to talk to anyone, anywhere in the world. Move on to evening leisure then. We all remember going out to rent DVDs, videos, an actual physical building with bricks and stuff. Remember having been able to time your cup of tea and make a sandwich in the adverts on the television, because we didn't have streaming television, do you remember?
Yeah.
You go out and make the cheese sandwich, the tea in the adverts, and you're back in. But that was a bit of a skill. Of course, nowadays we've streaming on all our devices, Netflix, Amazon. And of course, we've loads of, if you're going to the pub now, you've loads of options for 0.0 beers nowadays as well. So there are a few comparisons I did.
I have to say, it took me a while to accept 0.0 beer.
I have a good one.
It took me a while to get my head around that conceptually, and then be happy to pay. Ironically, the fact that there wasn't alcohol in it initially, I was like, why would I pay for a beer that has no alcohol?
Paying the same amount as well.
Yeah. Well, actually, as far as I know, the brewing process, they have to take the alcohol out. So in actual fact, it's more labor intensive than necessarily beer with alcohol now.
Yeah, actually, I've been off the alcohol for the last couple of weeks, so I'm on a 0.0 beer finding mission at the moment. So I'm tasting. I'm bringing home all sorts of 0.0 beers to see which is the most. And the best one I've had so far is, I don't know, it's a Belgian beer called Lef Blonde.
Yeah.
Lef Blonde 0.0. Very close to the real thing, I have to say.
Erdinger is as well, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, I like the Erdinger. Yeah, it's nice.
I lost my Guinness 0.0 virginity there about 6 months ago.
Guinness 0.0 is quite good as well.
Yeah, it is actually, but I just couldn't. The Irishman in me, I couldn't get my head. I just couldn't. So it took me a few years to kind of work up to it. And to your point, in actual fact, it's lovely.
It's really good. But go back to your first point, Aaron. I like that about we had alarm clocks to get up, and you read the physical newspaper.
Page 3.
That's totally alien to me now.
Yeah.
You know, that's something I used to do, but now it's the phone is the alarm clock, and I read the papers. It's my morning routine is to read the headlines in the Irish Times, Independent, and BBC.
We used to love the Sun, the problem pages. Remember them? Dear Auntie Vera, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
They were
Dear
brilliant.
Ken.
My husband isn't performing anymore, whatever it would be, but I don't know. But they were funny, weren't they, the stories like? But and going back to the 0-0 beer, I have a little statement here. Drinking non-alcoholic beer is like watching porn on the radio. So if you think about that, lads, and everyone else listen, but now it's a great option, don't get me wrong, but I picked that up during the week. I thought it was quite funny. But so which habit would have sounded insane 20 years ago that we do today? Mike?
Jeepers. Well, definitely drinking 0-0 beer would have been insane, unheard of. I actually tried some Bulmer's 0-0 recently, and somebody said to me, "Is that not just Sidona?"
I've heard bad things about that, Mike. It's supposed to be like Senec.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I only had the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, drinking, I went back 10, 15, 20 years, drinking 0-0 beers would have been totally unheard of. I think there was a 0-0 beer back then. Was it Caliber had one?
Christ, was horrible, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine if we
Caliber,
were
yeah.
on a session 20 years ago and someone approached us and said, next round, lads, I want you to buy 0-0, no alcohol in it. And we would have just thought that was off the charts
Nuts.
in terms of mental, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess
also-
there's a bit less stigma nowadays about going in and ordering an alcoholic
Yeah,
beer.
there's the generation coming up along, like, is definitely more conscious of them. They just go out to socialize and have a few zeros,
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, what new habit annoys you the most, Niall, about the modern world that people have?
There's probably lots. I would say that the tendency to overshare on social media.
Yeah,
Well, in other words, these people that kind of document every aspect of their life down to the most mundane aspects of their life and publish it. And I've been I've been at a couple of events and so on and so forth, and people are more interested in taking photos of what's actually going on than what's actually going on.
instead of being there in real time, yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of wrecks my head a little bit, if I'm honest.
It's like,
We
hi,
spoke
this is
about that.
Dave, and this is a typical morning when I get up. I have oatmeal with oatmeal milk, followed by
Nobody cares, Dave. But,
yeah.
so
I
Charlie-
took my morning yoga session on the balcony so everybody can see and maybe learn from my yoga stretches.
my perfect family that never argues, yeah. Shawnee, what old habit do you still refuse to give up, Sean, that you did years ago?
Being sarcastic.
Back in the day, well, sure, yeah, that's a good one.
What old habit do I refuse to give up that could be seen as outdated?
But days are essential, in fairness,
Yeah, I don't know really.
People laugh at me. I still have...
I do have one. I still write.
Me too, yeah. I can still write quite good too, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm the only person at work, or one
Yeah.
of the very, very few that I write my to-do list in the morning. I have my highlighter, and I
I have pink ones.
and I go into meetings. I'm the only one that brings in something like this and something like this and something like this.
I love it, yeah. I still have a
And I
diary.
go through, like, I have a meeting with like, management, and says two of my other colleagues will bring in their computer and do all their notes on the computer, and I'll be sitting there writing them down. I don't know. That's an old habit.
It's arguable that I can't actually write anymore.
Do you not have a diary? I still have a diary, lads, for work. I write in stuff as well as put it on the computer.
The physical act of writing now is a big struggle for me. Sorry, my phone is on here.
Yeah.
Rookie
The physical
podcast
act
mistake
of
there.
writing is a big struggle for me, and when I have to write, now my writing would have never been fantastic, but to be fair, you know, it's not particularly legible. So I've had to write a few things for the kids, notes and so on and so forth. It's amazing how much effort it takes me to write. Whereas now, if you go back to the Leaving Cert or whatever, the amount of writing,
Yeah.
so it's just complete lack of practice. So I just don't write anymore. So when I have to write, it's a big struggle for me.
Yeah.
I had to sign some paperwork recently, and I was thinking, when was the last time I actually signed my name? So I actually had to do a few test runs just to get used to. Because I work in technology, I literally use a keyboard. I use a phone.
DocuSign.
Everything
DocuSign,
is,
Aaron,
and DocuSign as well, yeah.
Yeah.
But I had to actually physically sign something recently. I had to go and practice a bit because I couldn't remember when I last picked up a biro.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've got
one in my hand now.
I've got mountains of refit pads.
Yeah.
That I need to have tons, like up in the attic, all from work. But
I've handwritten manuscripts from you, Shawnee, from songs you wrote out from me years ago. They're still in my folder. So, the Piano Man, that's one, yeah.
Yeah, okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, 1996 on the top of it, I think. But anyway.
No, I still like to write. I like to write, but I've always kind of liked to write anyway. So, and like I've got about 50 small notepads or notebooks, which I've written songs and poems and stuff like that. So.
Well done, lads.
Yeah.
No, that's my little rant about things that we used to do. So yeah.
Very good, Aaron. So, Mr. Carl, what should we bring back, or what should we leave?
Yeah, guys. So I'm going to do a kind of a quick fire round of items that are, I suppose, what we'd class as modern versus the older alternative. Okay, just to get your take on it, and then we might just build on that a little bit. That's all right. So we'll jump into it. I think I know some of the answers to this already, but I'm just going to write them down here, okay? Which is great because
there you go.
We're only just talking about writing. So sat-nav versus paper maps. Would you
pick one?
Would you prefer to use sat-nav, or would you prefer to go back to paper maps?
I'd bring back the paper map because we used to have brilliant arguments, me and Suzanne going off in the car. Because the wrong direction.
So Niall, what are you? Your sat-nav?
Sat-nav, yeah.
Sean, sat-nav?
Sat-nav.
Okay. You're out on your own, Aaron. I'd say sat-nav as well, myself. Okay. Spotify versus CDs or records. Now, I know records are making a comeback in collections.
Spotify, I'm sorry to say, but I love the accessibility. I know it's, sorry, but...
So I'm going to back to the conversation that we had in terms of bringing back and having to wait for the CD now, again, I was never so I didn't buy CDs, but the general point holds true here. So I'm going to say CDs on that basis alone.
What about yourself, Sean?
I have to sit in the fence here and be 50-50.
It's a tough one, man.
No, I'm going to have to push you. You're going to have to be left to right.
No, I can't judge. Because Aaron's argument in terms of accessibility, it's fantastic. And in terms of artists being able to get their music out publicly, the platforms are amazing. You can't really argue that. Now you can't argue, of course, that they get paid fuck all.
Yeah.
But it's still a platform to have your music published, and I can record here at home this evening and put something out on Spotify.
Yeah.
In the coming days. And then do the publicity myself and whatnot. At the same time, the other side, I'm totally in agreement with Niall. I miss that sense of anticipation, of waiting, of going to a store and going to alphabetical order and looking for, going through the P's and finding Pearl Jam and you go, I haven't got that one. Oh, they must have released this, or this is a backlog catalog, and there's always a thrill.
Tough one,
in that. So I can't choose. So they both have their merits.
There's pros and cons. What do you think, Mike?
I definitely would say Spotify, but I'd have to give a nod to CDs and records. Do you know what I found actually annoying lately is if you're driving and you're using Apple CarPlay or Android CarPlay, and you ask Spotify to play some music, right? It'll generally only play the top 5 songs from that artist and then goes on to similar artists, when really what you wanted it to do was play anything by that artist. Just seems to be a thing that annoys me lately.
I
But
don't have it, but I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's only a small thing.
I do
but
I do like Spotify's end of year kind of recap
Yeah.
of what you. That's
it's brilliant. The rap, I
Well-
love that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
well, we're on a podcast, guys, right? So it's not really costing us a whole pile to produce this and to publish it. What would it cost us if you were to put that out into a physical medium? You know, like if it was a CD or a tape or a record, and you know,
You wouldn't
do
do
it.
it. People
Yeah.
wouldn't consume podcasts, I don't think, in that format. Anyway, I think it's different with music or something. I don't think podcasts would. I think podcasts are by definition online.
we'd probably do
Yeah.
it on pirate radio or
yeah, maybe, yeah.
What was the radio you did in school, Niall? What was that? What was that? Can you remember
Yeah,
what that was
okay, yeah.
called?
Radio Con, I think, if I remember.
Radio
correctly.
Com. is
Com,
it?
yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Radio
And it
Com.
was on the intercom.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. But were you
Brilliant.
not in that? Were you not involved in that as well?
yeah,
Aaron?
yeah. I remember bringing in the Garth Brooks vinyls. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friends in low places, huh?
Yeah.
The like the only thing I would say is, you know, on CDs and records, you know, you had the artwork, the covers as well. You know what I mean? And a lot of people probably looked at that. You know,
The
That's-
Justin Van Sean.
that's too sorry.
I want the knife.
Making an appearance for the second time in the podcast.
Yeah, but you'd have to go out and have a word with them there and tell them, do you not realise we're doing a podcast every Saturday at 4
It's the
o'clock?
best fucking summer they're ever having, I can tell you.
I'd say so. Yeah.
They're making it, yeah.
Ask him if he had any of these power ballads. Go on.
Anyway, guys, we'll move on, right? Online shopping versus actually going out to walk through a shop. Now, let me maybe clarify this, right? When I say online shopping, I'm talking about food shopping, clothes shopping, not going out to your favourite guitar store or a CD shop. So being dragged off to the shops, basically.
I don't mind going to the shops now, doing a bit of shopping, but of course, over the hot weather, we used to go to Aldi just to stand in the aisle by the freezer for an hour. Yeah. The whole town was doing it. Fucking bacon, like, you know?
Yeah, my experience with the online food grocery shopping is it can be a little bit hit and miss, Mike. I would say generally. So if I have to go to a shop, with the exception of a grocery shop, I don't mind going to the supermarket. I hate the thoughts. It fills me with dread. So anything that I can do. So if I can buy something online versus walking into a shop to buy it, I'll do that. However, I will say grocery shopping seems great in theory, but in practice, at least in my experience, it doesn't work out as well as it probably should.
How do you mean? To forget stuff?
Well, you don't
Yeah.
always necessarily get what you want, and sometimes you're
yeah.
making something. So you know, if you're in the shop and you're making something and they don't have it, you can come up with kind of a plan B there and then. Now, I did see a really good example of AI there recently at a thing I was at, and they got an AI agent log on to Tesco.ie. They gave the AI agent basically the details for a family, including one of the kids, I think, had a peanut allergy or something like that, the budget and the approximate meals, and the agent filled the basket. The AI filled the basket under budget. So that certainly was impressive.
That is
Jesus.
impressive, yeah. So are we going for online shopping, Niall?
Online for me, yeah, but again, anything to avoid physical shopping, I will, as I say, I'd take out
Yeah.
one of my eyeballs.
I know Sean was shopping in a shop this morning, so are you online or?
So I'm a bit. It depends on the product. So I'm totally with Niall when it comes to food shopping. We tried the online food shopping, didn't like it, and I don't mind going to a food store.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind. I don't mind that at all. I really don't like shopping for clothes,
Yeah.
but I will very rarely buy clothes online, other than a t-shirt.
By runners, that's about it. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Other than
Yeah.
a t-shirt, because at the same time, as much as I hate going clothes shopping, I like to try on something before I go to buy it. But that fights with my other half. Kind of, I actually fucking hate trying on clothes.
I think it's a man thing, yeah.
So, I'm like, it's very difficult, frustrating experience with myself when I have to go, and I can ask my wife. I could spend weeks trying to buy a pair of shoes. Half of me is avoiding going into shop. The other half of me is, trying on 10 pairs of shoes over 10 weeks
Yeah.
and then going back and buying the first pair that I saw.
Yeah. So we're going to go, Sean. You're definitely an in-store person. I'm an in-store person myself, and I'd say, Aaron, you're an in-store person. You like the cold aisle in Aldi for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Hardware shops.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Bombs, yeah. Instant messaging versus ringing somebody. So would you prefer to message somebody on WhatsApp or something rather than picking up the phone and talking to them?
Depends on the person. If you don't want to talk to them, it's easier to message them. I don't know. It's a tough one.
Yeah, it kind of depends. I think in general, having a conversation with someone, be it on the phone or in person, is just a better form of communication generally. However, instant messaging, just in terms of the convenience, and sometimes you nearly want to avoid having that type of conversation with certain people. It's a much more quicker means in terms of doing it. So like the amount of work that I do on the phone is amazing in one sense, if I was to look at it 20 years ago. But the other side of that is like I'm working while I'm waiting to collect the kids from school. You know what I mean? So basically it means that there is no place other than when I'm driving the car when I can't be working. And the temptation then is literally to be working all of the time.
Yeah. I had that at my last place.
Balance thing again, lads, yeah.
So Aaron, you're watching. Sean, what you reckon? Message or ring him? Just say sorry.
I'm probably more towards messaging because I'm a bit more grumpy and a bit more of a hermit the older I get, and the less I want to talk to people. Yeah. So messaging is easier. I do hate when people say, "Can you DM me?"
Yeah.
No, I can't. Just go away.
That drives me nuts. I know.
First thing I prefer to ring, just pick up the phone, because you start off with one message and then that turns into 10 messages over and back. You could have just fucking rang them and had the conversation.
So annoying, yeah.
And be done with it. So I'm a pick up the phone and ring them person. Self-service checkouts, guys, or going up to the cashier. I know Aaron's answer to this one. So which is fair
for me?
Self-service for me.
Cashier. What?
The real person, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Or which Sean?
Self-service.
Okay, it's 50-50. What's that? Mike likes self-service as well. Don't need to be talking that down. Streaming versus renting a DVD.
Streaming, I'm sorry, I'm spoiled now. Yeah. It's just the way it's gone. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Niall.
Yeah, I don't really watch TV anymore or stream. I used to a bit, so I don't really consume that so much. But I earlier conversation, I do the occasion of going and renting a DVD or a video or whatever it is. I think, but like again, like I won't even, so nowadays, because I struggle to watch stuff with Aisling because she'll watch it and want to continue, whereas I feel like I'm giving her a commitment, whereas I might be 25 minutes into the episode and I'm not watching any more of this. And she struggles to deal with that sometimes. The other thing I have, and like again, this is just how I work, I've no issue going to the cinema and watching two different movies.
At the same time?
No, as in she would go to one movie and I'd go to another.
Oh Jesus, that's romantic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you buy her popcorn or anything going in there?
I don't guess why you should have a problem with that. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But however,
I think you'd be a fan of the silent disco, would you? Where you get these. I haven't been at one, but
but when you're watching a movie, you're not having a conversation. I mean, you know what I mean? Like watching TV or watching a movie, you're not having a conversation with someone. So,
but you're in the cinema, you can hear fuck all anyway. It's way too loud.
Yeah, definitely. Well, okay, guys, we'll keep moving. Contactless payments.
I have a word to say about that.
Sorry, apologies.
I'm also a bit like Niall. I don't watch TV, but I would have to go with streaming because, and like Aaron said, I can't stand cinemas. I love going to the cinema, but I can't stand watching something with someone else. I have to be, and even at home, if I'm watching something, I have to be on my own to watch it because anybody else is sitting around me making noise or fucking eating or
There's always a family.
talking around the phone. And, yeah, no.
There's always kids at the back making fucking noise. Go on.
So streaming is convenient for me because I can time when I kind of want to watch something if I want to watch something.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Streaming for me as well. I keep moving along, guys. Contactless payments versus cash.
Oh, bring back the cash.
Contactless. I mean, not needing to carry cash around, to my mind, is a convenience.
It isn't. The whole servers go down, you're kind of screwed. So I always try and have
Well, I know, but that's that's the other side of that particular argument. Yeah.
Yeah.
A few times, a couple of the parking machines in Dublin, for some reason, they don't take a card and you don't have change.
Yeah.
Which is just an absolute pain in the backside.
Yeah.
An app.
Yeah,
So, Sean,
it's working in a bank and having been head of our payments section for many years. I see if you get there's a lot of arguments on this topic, even between colleagues and friends. I have one friend who, has been working in finance for like 25 years, but he only carries cash. He has the whole kind of they can see everything I'm doing type of, you can, not that he's doing anything wrong, but he prefers the anonymity of cash as opposed to
it's old school, yeah.
And I'm working in for a Swedish company, and I go to Sweden a lot. They were like one of the very early countries to completely like eliminate cash. You cannot go into a shop, and most shops will say we don't accept cash. And
I was speaking to someone there recently who spent some time in China, and for all intents and purposes, China is a cashless society, albeit they have a currency. So I suppose in some respects that tells you all you need to know to a certain extent. But again, if you talk to younger people, so like if you talk to younger kids nowadays, they can't get their head around even the concept of cash.
No, my two lads have Revolut accounts.
It doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that?
Yeah, exactly. And I recently got a Revolut account, Aaron, and linked it to my Apple Pay.
Yeah.
And it's done in like seconds. It was just.
What else have we got there, Mike?
Sorry, guys. Yeah, just one more thing then. So ebooks versus physical books.
Well, I'm going to go physical books. We need stuff to be printed. Yeah. Plus, you can't beat a real book. I'm reading Arnold Schwarzenegger's book at the minute. It's 10 Ways to Be Useful. It's very good, but there's something about a physical book in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, agree. Physical book. I've tried ebooks. I just can't get into it.
I spend my week looking at a screen now. Fuck that.
Yeah, same here. Considering I like to write a lot, the physical book is
very good.
I don't read.
Yeah, I don't. So I'm inclined to, if I can't consume it via video or audio, I'm probably not going to read it unless I'm very invested in some way. So I mean, it pains me to say this because I used to be a fairly avid reader.
So a lot of people be like,
I would struggle, to read now. So
it's not for
I don't have the patience to sit and read a book, so I prefer audiobooks. But the only time that I do read a physical book is if I'm on summer holidays, sitting by a pool, drinking a beer, chilling, and I'd have a physical book. I'd rather a physical book than something on my phone, because I just take that 2-week period of holidays to try and detach myself from electronics.
Yeah, but I mean, the big struggle with trying to get kids to consume books, physical or ebooks nowadays, and it's probably not a good thing for those kids either.
I too are great readers, actually. Yeah.
So, guys, just a quick recap. So, thanks very much. So, in the bring it back or leave it there, the physical paper maps, it's going to be really a case of leave it there, except for Aaron's thoughts on it. It's a bit 50-50 on the Spotify versus CD records. Shopping online versus through physical shops seems to be preference towards physical shopping, which is great. Keeps people in jobs. Instant messaging versus ringing somebody is definitely a hard. We'll keep the instant messaging, please. Self-service checkouts versus cashiers. We're looking at self-service checkouts, so we're going to keep that. And what else had we? We had the ebooks versus physical books. It's again a 50-50 on that. And last one was contactless payments. Everybody's for contactless payments except Aaron, who wants to keep cash under his mattress.
Cash is king. If we could find enough of it, go on.
Very
All
good,
right,
guys.
Mike. Thanks a lot.
Well, that's it for me. Thanks very much, guys.
There's Mike.
Good. Okay, Niall. You're going to run us through our Friends in Low Places top 10 things we would keep.
So top things we keep if everything reset tomorrow. So again, let's just imagine civilization restarts tomorrow. So all modern stuff is gone with the exception of the 10 things that we choose as a collective. So normal rules apply here, folks. We each get 5 picks. If something appears more than once or on 2 people's lists, it's automatically put in, right? We each get we get 1 free pick, and then we have to argue the toss, so to speak. What you might do, Sean, because your writing is better than my writing, will you help me to keep tabs
Keep
on
tabs.
this?
Yeah, I keep
please?
tabs. But just to be clear, we're talking about if it reset, if we go back, reset it to back 20 or 30 years ago. Or if
No. So just resets. So all modern technologies, all modern mod cons and so on and so forth are gone, with the exception of the 10 that we keep. So we're effectively going back to the Stone Ages for all intents and purposes, with the exception of the 10 mod cons, technologies, modern habits, whatever you want to call it, that we.
Okay, so we are going back to the Stone Age.
Well, yeah, in a sense.
I could quickly change my list to put fire.
But we don't need. In other words, you don't need to worry about surviving in the Stone Age. It's just, you know what I mean. So I wouldn't get too far into it in that sense.
I was going to say we better keep internet and technology at least, otherwise we'd be sending smoke signals to each other.
Okay, so let's start with you then, Shawnee. What's on your list, 1 to 5?
Right, 1 to 5. Okay, and again, this is in with the brackets that electricity has already been invented, and it's just still a bit of
we're not going to say the internet won't work because there's no electricity, Sean.
I'm gonna go. But this has already come up several times today. The sat nav GPS. That's just a given now. My brain has given up on maps. Bluetooth,
interesting. Okay,
Bluetooth. I'll tell you why. Playing music live.
Very good, yeah.
When you don't have a big long cable, it makes a hell of a difference, and you have a good.
Of course,
yeah. You can.
Very fancy, Shawnee, yeah.
Not that I jump about on stage or anything like that. It's just. It's one less cable to fall over. Bluetooth, and then also speakers and headphones and stuff like that. It's which brings me to the next one: robot lawnmower.
Yeah, my brother Rory would support you on that. He's a big fan.
So we got one 2 years ago, and from May to October, I would mow the lawn a couple of times a week, and of course, depending on the weather, like you could mow it more than twice a week. And then we have to go to the dump and the time I have saved. And you come home in the evening and the lawn is mowed, and there's no rubbish or anything or grass over. It's fantastic.
Very quick story. You know, robot vacuum cleaners.
Yes, we also have 2 of those.
Mother has one, yeah.
Heard a story there recently. Someone had a robot vacuum cleaner, also had a dog.
Had a dog.
Yeah, left the robot vacuum cleaner and the dog in the sitting room or some room in the house or whatever.
Yeah.
Dog did a poo on the floor, and the robot vacuum cleaner spread the poo all over the room.
Lovely.
Haven't encountered that situation, thankfully.
Okay, well, you've 2 left, Sean. Is that right?
Yeah, online booking.
Okay.
And I include that being able to check in online for airplanes and stuff like that, and flights and trains and everything. Is just fantastic. Like, 'cause I travel a fair bit, so I'm in Stockholm quite a bit. I can just have my train ticket and everything. It's just so convenient. And then I would say YouTube. And I think Aaron might support me on this one. When you're learning how to play a song back in the day, you had to listen to the CD, write down the lyrics, figure out the chords. Of course, there was fun in that, but nowadays you want to know a song and maybe different ways to how to play it.
Yeah,
everything's on YouTube. It's fantastic. It's just so convenient for anybody who wants to learn something. for not even in musical instruments, but anything, any model of any particular product, how to set it up. Yeah. It's just going
So
through you.
that's your 5. So I'm going to ask you next, Mike. So before we start, is there anything on your list, Mike, that was already called out on Sean's list?
Let me see. I have
GPS, no?
GPS. So GPS is on the list.
ordering online.
Yeah, ordering online.
Ordering online. I'd agree. So there's 2. So you have 3 more, Mike. Is that right?
No, he didn't have GPS.
Oh, we didn't have
Mike.
GPS.
Sorry, Mike. Say your 5. I'm interrupting.
Sorry, my 5 are contactless payments, banking online ordering, high-speed broadband, and cruise control.
Sorry, what were the last 2, Mike?
They were high-speed broadband.
High-speed broadband, yeah.
And cruise control.
Cruise control is an interesting ad there, Mike. Talk to me about why you put that one there.
Well, if anyone has spent any time on the road driving, cruise control is a fantastic invention.
It is, yeah.
Because I don't know how I managed over the years. Like in my previous career, I was a field engineer for IT, probably doing 50,000 a year on the road. Cruise control just changed everybody's lives once you got vehicles that had it, So for me, it's a big thing. I couldn't survive without it.
Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, then Sean, online ordering is what we have on the list. So that was repeated in both yours and Mike's list. Yeah. Okay. So same question to you, Aaron. So anything on either Sean or Mike's list that's on your list there?
So my 5 are high-speed broadband. Obviously, we all need that. 5
Yeah, that was on Mike's.
Air fryers, because that's my cooking skills in a nutshell. YouTube, as like Sean was saying, watching music, or I've learned a lot of DIY stuff off it. I had loads of subscriptions as well. Google, Dr. Google, so I kind of tend to go on that too much. And reversing cameras, because I have one in the van, and I drove a car the other day without one, and I can't fucking reverse anymore, so yeah. That was, they're mine. So there's 2 or 3 there that overlap, yeah.
Yeah, so that we have 2 or 3 already, Sean, do we?
3. We have, so booking online or ordering online, high-speed broadband, and YouTube.
Okay. So I'm going to give you my 5 here. High-speed internet we already have. GPS, Google Maps we already have, don't we?
Aaron,
I'm going to say,
Mike said it, did he?
yeah, Mike definitely said it.
So
no.
Mike definitely said go GPS, didn't you, Mike?
No, Sean
said it, sorry.
I said
said
GPS,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So that's there. Of the social media, the one that I couldn't live without, because I actually use it for work, is WhatsApp.
Jeez, we're all using it more than we think, aren't we?
Yeah. So, as I say, I don't really consume TV, music, ebooks. The thing that I consume the most, or of what I consume, it's not like I have a lot of time to consume it, but if I have an hour today, an hour on a given day, it's more than likely going to be podcasts. So for me, it's podcasts. And ironically, my kids were off this year. I'm working from home. I'm trying to look after the kids and work from home at the same time. I'm not the best multitasker. It's very different. We discussed about kids going out to play and all of that type of stuff. It doesn't really work like that, unfortunately, anymore. So children's summer camps. So Maggie was at a camp during the week. It was a kind of a drama, dancing one. She done this year. Fantastic. Right. James will have a GA camp in a couple of weeks. Fantastic.
Yeah. Niall, I support you on that one.
So do I, yeah.
And it's a kind of an unfortunate thing in one way as a parent to say it, but it is the reality of work and trying to look after kids when they're off school. Okay, so going back to you then, Shawnee, you get 1 free pick from your remaining ones. What would you go for?
Robot lawnmower.
Okay, I'll really be delighted to hear you say that. Mike?
high-speed broadband.
Okay. Is that not on already?
It's already on.
Sorry, it's on it.
You've got banking online or cruise control or contactless payments.
I love the cruise control, but Jesus, I hate going into the bank. No offense, Sean. Banking online.
Banking online.
Okay. Aaron?
Reversing cameras and sensors for stupid people.
Okay. And I'm actually going to go with podcast, Shawnee.
Okay.
So how many do we have? 7 or 8, I'd guess.
We've 8. So
okay.
we have booking online, high-speed broadband, YouTube, GPS, robot lawnmower, banking online, reversing cameras and sensors, and podcasts.
So is there one there from anyone's list that we've missed that you feel really strongly about? You'd be upset if it wasn't on the list.
Google.
Fair shout, Aaron, yeah.
Jesus Christ, every day in work we're all using it, let's face it. For problems or whatever, yeah, whatever.
I'd kind of have to go with that almost, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, we're doing it without even knowing, that's the world we're in, like.
Yeah.
So
are we agreed?
Yeah. And I would say just to have a non-technological one, and I totally agree with your kids' summer camp. We would have been lost without those.
yeah, so we use them, yeah.
I'm reasonably passionate on that. The other thing I would say, it takes kids away from devices, which is another bloody challenge when they're off, right? Whereas at the camps, typically the camps are activities based, so they're not doing devices. So to my mind, they're fantastic, and the people that do them are fantastic.
So our friends at Low Places top 10 things that we keep if someone hit the reset button tomorrow and we went back, started everything from scratch. We would keep booking or ordering anything online, high-speed broadband, YouTube, GPS, robot lawnmowers, banking online, reversing cameras and sensors, podcasts, Google, and kids' summer camps.
Nice broad variety there, yeah.
Exactly. But very, very technology focused. It's gas, isn't it?
It's to be expected, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, again, if we were to look at the kind of stuff today and we were to play it forward, say 20 years when we're kind of 70, our kids will be, well, your kids are pretty much adults, but where my kids will be.
I'll be 69, a great number. Go on.
Yeah, my kids would be in their late 20s, early 30s, right?
Yeah.
What new invention, and by new invention, I mean, relatively recent inventions, so the likes of AI, for instance, will our kids say that they couldn't live without them? So I think AI probably is an obvious one to go for, but are there others?
I think things like the robotic lawnmower, that sort of stuff, they're going to play a big part in it. Like the whole IoT, Internet of Things, has been talked about for a long time. And even, in the earlier days, they were saying your fridge would be linked into your Dunn Stores account and would be able to upload from the fridge what's running low in terms of stock and things like that. I could see that stuff coming into play in the coming times from a personal home perspective. Work, who only knows? AI will probably do us all our jobs eventually, but.
Yeah, I guess because you'll probably have home AI agents.
Robots,
home helpers,
and you set up your agent to go, okay, like that. I want a full list of what we're running low on by Thursday evening, and I want which shops have the produce, and I want you to order it so that'll be there when I arrive home at 5 o'clock in the evening.
I must get one of them.
I suppose convenience will.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it in one of the other podcasts, but I mean, it's probably, it's coming in big time now, and it goes on from which you spoke about, Mike, with self-drive cars. So it won't be just that it'll be cruise control. It's just the car will be driving you there, wherever. And I think the ownership of cars will probably be something that, will so the car will just show up outside your door and take you to wherever you're going, type of thing.
So subscribe to your car, yeah.
And maybe even, how advanced will electric cars be? Because, I think they'll get to the stage they go, imagine our parents used to go to this one specific place and they used to fill the car up with very inflammable fuel and you had to queue there and you had 2 types of flammable fuel to fill up a combustible engine that would drive it there. Imagine doing that today. And when all we have to do is just plug our car into our main socket at home and charge the car and go.
Amazing, yeah. It's scary.
Do you have words of wisdom or a quotation for us before we finish up, Sean?
I do, yeah. And because we've focused a fair bit on technology, I'm going to leave you with a quote. Technology is nothing. What's important is that you have faith in people and that they're basically good and smart. And if you give them tools, they'll do wonderful things with them. Who could tell me who gave that quote?
Elon Musk or someone like that.
There wasn't one of those. No.
You're not far off, Mike.
What do you say?
Steve Jobs.
Oh,
Steve
Apple,
Jobs,
God
yeah.
rest him. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good. Well done.
So yeah,
In-
Okay.
interesting.
good session,
Thanks,
guys.
Thanks,
Thanks so much.
Ben. Talk to you
Thanks,
soon.
everyone.
All right, be good.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Suppose a ride is out of the question.
Down with this sort of thing. Careful now.